I honestly think if like a nuclear war happened, somehow, some way, there would be cockroaches and there would be Atari that managed to survive it, because Atari just seems to be a brand that doesn't go away no matter what happens to it, no matter if people forget about it, no matter if people end up selling the IP of Atari to other places. It always seems like there's something Atari related happening within video games. Of course, recently we had the Atari VCS scandal, in which Atari didn't like my coverage of it. They called me fake news, so I guess Atari isn't big fans of RGT, but that's okay, because really, I'm not a huge fan of Atari. Like, I understand their contributions to video game history, but I'm also not of the mindset that they were the most important thing in the world. Like, I have some fun playing Atari games, but I'm a little bit younger than most of the Atari audience was, so I grew up with the NES and the Sega Genesis. But Atari is once again coming back, and they're coming back very soon. Now, this was actually announced back in January. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know if I was asleep at the wheel or something like that, but a brand new Atari system is coming out in 2023. It looks like it's coming out very soon, as listings have started to pop up on various websites. And you know what? I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I expected to be like, this is stupid, we don't need it, but I kind of like it. So we're going to talk today about this new Atari system. Now, what is the company behind it that is making it? They are called My Arcade. And if you're familiar with My Arcade, they're not exactly a beacon of quality. I don't know if they've improved upon things recently. These little mini microcades that they've been doing, people do seem to like them. But when I think of My Arcade, this is the stuff I think of. These crappy little handhelds that you find at like Walgreens or at the grocery store. Like, they're not very nicely designed. The performance on these leaves a lot to be desired from what I've heard. They just don't seem like quality systems. They have also done this Nintendo, the portable retro champ NES. I believe Metal Jesus made a video on this, which in theory, I mean, is kind of interesting, but like, it's freaking huge. Like, this is the size of a massive tablet to play your NES games on. So I guess in theory, it's not a bad product, but the execution definitely left a lot to be desired, because it's literally like they just took a NES, like the innards of an NES, and put it in a tablet, and we're like, here, go cart your NES games around. Of course, you can get something like an EverDrive or something like that in order to sort of circumvent that problem, so that way you have all the NES and all the Famicom games on there. But I'm not the biggest fan of this company, but I also believe in giving companies a second chance, because let's be real, in this retro space, we have seen a lot of very interesting things. We have seen companies go from greatness to very questionable stuff like Arcade 1-Up, and we've seen companies go from crap to pretty solid stuff like At Games. At Games used to make those Genesis systems that were absolutely terrible, and I hated them, and I did not love them. But then when At Games started getting into the arcade side of things, they did a really good job with their pinball machine, and people really seem to like their At Legends arcade machine as well. But we're not here to talk about At Games. We're here to talk about good old My Arcade. And here is our system. This is the Atari Game Station Pro system. And honestly, I like the way it looks. I like all of this. I like how it's a nice sleek design. I like the RGB lighting around the buttons here. I like the RGB lighting around these control sticks here. I think all of this looks very nice. It looks like a somewhat premium system. You know, we got a better look at the buttons here. There is a power button and a home button. I like the way this looks. Now, the controllers themselves do run on batteries, so you have to have your own batteries and stuff like that. But, you know, that's not a huge deal. You can see here, this is an Office Depot listing, because all the other listings for it actually went down. It popped up all over the internet yesterday with potential pre-orders, and then all of these things went down. I saw it on Amazon and stuff like that. So for whatever reason, I guess maybe they weren't supposed to talk about it quite yet, but whatever, we're going to talk about it anyways. Looking like it's going to be about $100, so that's somewhat reasonable. But when you look at the details, like, the details are pretty decent, honestly. Like, you get over 200 games in this system. It's a system that has 2600, 5200, 7800, and arcade games on it. So I like that. I like that they're not just focusing on the 2600, which always seems to be the thing. I actually like playing some 7800 games. I think there's like Ninja Golf and Food Fight. Like, I think those are really fun games on the Atari 7800. Of course, having arcade games is pretty cool as well. You could do different save stuff. There's over 200 different games. Like I said, you got Asteroid, Centipede, Millipede, Breakout, Missile Command, Crystal Castles, and many more. You have the dynamic lighting system, there's game save options, and the system connects directly to your TV for convenience. I mean, that's probably a good sort of thing. So I like this. We also have a picture of the packaging as well. So here is that with the Game Station Pro. A couple more games are confirmed for it, such as Warlords, Breakout, Gravatar, over 200 games. I like the way this looks. Like, I don't hate it. I think it's at a decent price point with $100. I think it looks very nice. Like, this is something I would have in my home if I wanted it, which I'm not even 100% sure I want it. The wireless controllers, you know, I think that's the biggest question with this, because when it comes down to it, emulation for the Atari systems of 2600, 5200, 7800, like anything can run them. Like your fingernail can run these systems. I'm more concerned with these controllers themselves. These are 2.4 gigahertz wireless controllers that do require batteries. Like, what's the little knob on here? I guess maybe that's for certain games as far as control is concerned, maybe a different option or something like that. But I want to know, like, how these sticks are. Like, do these sticks work well? And because I think if they work well, like, this is something that's pretty decent. You know, it's not going to revolutionize the world, but I feel like this does one of two, actually does like two different things. One, it kind of makes Atari look somewhat good again and remember the good times about Atari after the Atari VCS. I know that there's people that love the Atari VCS out there. I'm proud of you. I'm glad you love your VCS. Like, that's cool. I'm not going to rain on your parade, but from my personal perspective, this thing was a waste of time, a waste of resources, and a waste of people's money, because that was a crowd-funded project. Now, with this coming in at $100, like, there's not really any risk. So I think it's a good thing for the Atari brand, and I think it could be potentially a good thing for the My Arcade brand. I'm not trying to rain on their parade or anything like that. It's just the quality. They started out on kind of the lower end budget stuff that you would see at like Walgreens and grocery stores and stuff like that. It wasn't about making a high quality product. It was more so about making a quick buck. And I get that, you know, I understand that, but I feel like they can right their wrongs. You know, like I said, they're little mini cades. People seem to really like those, and they think that they're pretty high quality. So, you know, I can forgive and forget. I'm looking forward to this thing. It's probably coming out very soon. Like I said, there's been multiple listings that have gone up. Amazon had it up yesterday. Office Depot and BJ's Wholesale. That's a funny name. They had listings for it, then were pulled. So I would expect this to be going up live any day now. I don't know where the hell I was when this was first unveiled, because I feel like it's something that I would have talked about unless I was just talking about other stuff. And it was January, so what could I have possibly been talking about? But the Atari Game Station Pro from My Arcade, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think it has potential. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this, though. Is this something that you would be looking forward to? Can this be something that helps out My Arcade as far as the future is concerned? What does this mean for the legacy of the Nintendo Switch, and how will this impact Nintendo Switch 2 sales? Because, I mean, it used to be Atari versus Nintendo, you know, 7800 versus the NES. Has nothing to do with either thing. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy random video game news. Obviously, Nintendo Switch 2 stuff is going to be very popular coming up very soon, but I try to spread it out, talk about other things as well. If you're wondering why I alluded to another video in yesterday's video and told you guys to watch it, I don't know what happened to that video. I uploaded it, it had no copyright claims, and then all of a sudden it got a copyright claim and they blocked it as I was uploading the other video, the Nintendo Switch 2 information video. So I just went ahead and pulled it. Sorry about that. The gist of it was, You know, Red Dead Redemption has Switch controls in it. Metroid Dread sold over 3 million, and Xbox and Square Enix are working stronger together. All right. So now you're caught up to speed with that video. I'm rambling. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.